100 leads a day. Sounds impossible, right? That's because most people are using strategies built for 2020 that barely squeezes out five leads a week. All right, 5 leads a week. So I'm going to break down the exact system I use every single day to hit 100 leads on autopilot, how to set it up in under an hour, and the one tweak that tripled my results overnight. To start, let me show you the simple funnel that does 90% of the heavy lifting for you. All right. So let's go to the next slide here. Most people hear funnel and they picture something complicated. Landing pages, email automations, pixel tracking, retargeting campaigns, a maze of tech that takes weeks to build and breaks every other Tuesday. Forget all that, all right? The funnel I use has 3 pieces. That's it, 3. And the reason it generates 100 leads a day is it because it removes everything that slows people down and keeps only the parts that actually convert. Think about it like a water slide, all right? You climb up, you sit down, gravity does the rest. Nobody gets stuck halfway. Nobody has to figure out what to do next. You just go down, all right? That's what your funnel should feel like as well. They just sit down and then take the ride. The person sees your content, they slide into your lead magnet, and they land in your system. No friction, no thinking, just flow. All right, here are the 3 pieces. Piece 1 is the hook post. This is a short form piece of content, could be a reel, a TikTok, a LinkedIn post, a YouTube short that does one job here. All right, create a burning curiosity gap. It doesn't teach, it doesn't sell. It makes someone think, I need to know more about this or this system. You know, the hook post always ends with a call to action that points to piece 2, which is the continuation. Piece 2 is the opt in. It's the opt in page and the resource. All right. One page, one headline, one button. The headline promises a specific, tangible result. The button gives them the result in exchange for their email. No phone number, no last name, no tell me about your business. One field, email, done. Piece 3 is the thank you sequence, not a thank you page, a thank you sequence. The second they opt in, they get an email that delivers what you promised, sets the stage for a relationship, and opens the door to a conversation. All right, that's the whole funnel: hook, capture, nurture. All right, now let me show you what this looks like in practice. I ran this exact funnel for a client who sells online courses for real estate agents. We made a 45-second reel and said, I just found the 3 zip codes in Florida where agents are making $40K plus in commission per deal and nobody's talking about them. That was the hook. The caption said, comment zips and I'll send you the list. People commented, and automation DM'd them a link to opt in to the opt-in page. The headline said the 3 hidden Florida zip codes where agents are closing $40K plus deals. One field, email. They opted in and instantly received a PDF of 3 zip codes, a breakdown of why each one was profitable, and at the bottom, a soft CTA to book a free strategy session. That one reel generated 847 leads in 11 days. And here's the thing, the reel itself wasn't special. All right, no fancy editing, no trending audio, just a guy talking to the camera for 45 seconds about something specific and interesting. The funnel did the work. Here's your quick win here. All right, forget everything you think you know about funnels. Draw these 3 boxes on a piece of paper. Box 1, your hook content. Box 2, your opt-in page. And box 3, your email sequence. If any of those boxes is empty or broken, that's your first fix. The whole thing can be live in under an hour using free tools. All right. Now you might be thinking, okay, cool, a simple funnel, but how do you actually get 100 people a day to enter it? Because a funnel with no traffic is just a pretty web page. All right. We need traffic. And that's where most people get completely stuck. People usually have a traffic problem. Here's the math that changed everything for me. All right? If your opt-in page converts at 20%, which is solid but realistic for a good page, you need 500 people to visit that page every day to get 100 leads. 500. That sounds like a lot until you understand where those 500 people come from. Most business owners have one source of traffic. They post on Instagram, or they run ads, or they do cold outreach, one channel, one shot, and they get the one channel That one channel might bring in 30 to 50 people per day on a good day, which means they're capped at 6 to 10 leads per day. No matter how good their funnel is, the secret to 100 leads a day isn't a better funnel, it's more inputs into the funnel, right? So more traffic. I think about it like rain collection. If you put one barrel outside during a storm, you'll collect some water. But if you put 10 barrels out, right, you collect 10 times as much water. Same storm, same rain, just more barrels catching it. Right? Here's how I stack my barrels. I have 5 primary traffic sources running at all times. Source 1, organic short form video, Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts. I post 2 to 3 times per day. This drives about 15 to 25 leads. Source 2, YouTube long form, 1 video per week, optimized for search, about 10 to 20 leads per day. Source 3, paid ads, $50 to $75 per day on Meta ads, another 25 to 50 leads per day. Source 4, collaborations and guest appearances, 2 to 3 podcasts per month, about 10 to 15 leads per day on average. Source 5, my email list itself, forward this to a friend, CTA plus referral incentive, about 5 to 10 new leads per day. And those, if you just add those up, on a slow day, I'm at 65. On a strong day, 120. Average, right around 100. No single source does all the work. That's the point because, it doesn't work that way. Here's how to apply this today. Write down every place you currently get leads from or get traffic from. Your job for the next 30 days is to just add one more source. Just one more. All right. Now, here's where it gets really interesting because even with 5 traffic sources, most people's content doesn't convert. They get views, but not leads. And the reason is something almost nobody teaches. Getting views is easy. Getting leads from those views is hard. And the gap between the two comes down to one thing. Whether your content creates demand or just creates awareness, most people's content creates awareness. People sometimes, like, someone watches their reel and thinks, "Oh, that was interesting," and then and they just scroll to the next thing. It's 3 seconds, they're done, and forget about it. Forget about you too. Like, we don't want people to forget about us. Demand creating content is different here. All right, someone watches it and thinks, "I need what this person has, what this person offers, how he thinks. How do I get this?" Here's the difference in practice. All right. An awareness post says 5 tips for getting more leads. It teaches, people read it, nod, and move on. All right. A demand post says, "I generated 100 leads yesterday using a method I've never seen anyone else teach. Comment leads and I'll send it to you." It teases, it creates a gap between the knowledge they have and the knowledge you have. All right. This formula is real, and it's what I call the RIP method. All right, RIP method. R stands for result. Start with a specific, impressive result. Not "I get a lot of leads." Instead, "I generate 100 leads yesterday." Specifically, specificity creates believability. All right. I stands for intrigue. Create a curiosity gap. Hint how without revealing it. All right. You hint at the how, but you don't reveal it. And the crazy part here is I didn't run a single ad. Now they have to know more. All right. If you add that in, like the crazy part, I didn't run a single ad. You get what I'm saying here. Right? That's what people post usually. P stands for path. Give them one clear action to get the answer. Comment system below and I'll DM you the full breakdown. Result, intrigue, path. Every piece of content that drives leads follows this pattern. All right. I tested this head to head. Reel A was a tip style video. 3 ways to improve your lead generation. It got 12,000 views and 4 leads. Reel B used the RIP method. This system got me 247 leads last week without spending $1 on ads. Comment free to get it. It got 6,000 views and 67 leads. I had fewer views, 16 times more leads. That's what we want to target here, all right? Because the content didn't just inform, it created demand, and we're in the demand creation business here, right? Here's your action step here. Next, take your next piece of content and run it through the RIP method before you post it. What specific result can you lead with? What's the intrigue and what's the clear path to getting more or learning more about the process from your end? All right. But here's the thing. When your content creates demand, and your funnel captures leads, there's a speed problem that kills most people's results, and it has to do with what happens in the first 60 seconds after someone opts in. When someone gives you their email, you have exactly 60 seconds of peak attention, 60 seconds where they're actively engaged, their inbox is open, and they're looking for your message. After that, they're just gone. Most people waste the window completely. The lead opts in and gets maybe nothing, or maybe a generic check your email page. All right, maybe an email that lands 5 minutes later with a bland subject line. Here's what I do instead. We want to do this. The second someone opts in, three things happen simultaneously. Thing one, the thank you page is a video, a short 90-second video of me saying, hey, your guide is hitting your inbox right now. While you wait, let me show you the one thing most people miss. Thing two, the first email lands instantly, not in 5 minutes, within seconds. The moment they click that opt-in button, they get the email. All right? The subject line is specific. Now, thing three is the email does double duty. It delivers the lead magnet and starts a conversation. The last line is a question. What's the biggest struggle you're dealing with right now? Anyone who replies is 10x more likely to become a client. All right. Now, I had a client who was getting about 40 leads per day, but only booking 2 calls per week. When I looked at his setup, his thank you page said to check your email, and his first email had a 3-hour delay. All right, 3 hours. By then, nobody cared. He implemented the 60-second system, video thank you page, instant first email, reply question at the bottom. This call bookings went from two bookings per week to 11 per week. Same leads, same offer. The only change was what happened in the first minute. All right. So here's your quick win. All right. We're gonna give you some stuff to implement here. So go check your thank you page right now. If you don't have one, create one, please. What does someone see after they opt in? If it's a blank page or a boring check your email message, you're just killing attention. Replace it with a video today, multiple videos if you can. Even if you film it on your phone in 2 minutes, it's infinitely better than nothing. Now, the 60-second window gets people engaged, but the real question is, how do you keep them engaged over the days and weeks that follow? Because most people's email sequences are putting their leads to sleep. All right, so we're going to get into this next. The average email open rate across all industries is 21%. That means every 100 emails you send, 79 people ignore you completely. Open rate isn't about luck, it's about the algorithm. It's almost entirely about one thing, the subject line. Your subject line is the gatekeeper. I spent 3 months testing subject lines obsessively, over 200 different versions, and I found a pattern. The subject lines that performed best consistently above 45% open rates, all right? And all created, this is what they created, all right? The micro curiosity gap. That's what they did, all right? Just enough information to be intrigued, but not enough to feel satisfied. Example, all right? This is what I have in some of my sequences. This broke my funnel in a good way. 52, that was the headline, right? This broke my funnel, and then in brackets, in a good way with the parentheses. That had a 52% open rate. The lead source, I almost deleted. That's intriguing as well. 48%. I was wrong about this. 51%. Quick question about your topic. That had 47%. Compare those to generic subject lines like 5 tips for better marketing. 18%. Your weekly newsletter. 14%. Neo blog post. 12%. People don't care about this stuff. If you send 100 emails with a 45% open rate instead of 20%, that's 25 more people reading your stuff every single day. Over a month, that's 750 more people exposed to your offer. All right. So, but, the subject lines are just the door, right? They get you to the door. What's inside the email matters too. And this is important. All right. The biggest mistake people make with email content is they try to teach, all right? They write mini blog posts, long, detailed, educational emails packed with value. All right? We don't want to do it. It sounds good in theory, but it's not, all right? Educational emails train your audience to consume, not to act. They read, they learn, they feel smart, and then they close the email. They never click, they never reply, they never book a call. The emails that convert are story emails, short, personal, one story, one lesson, one CTA. That's the entire structure. Here's a template, all right? Start with a story, something that happened to you or a client. Keep it under 150 words. Then connect it to a single insight within your industry. One sentence. Then give them one clear action. Reply and tell me yours, or grab the template here, or book your call before Friday. I send one of these every single day. My unsubscribe rate is 0.1% per email. Industry average is 0.3%. Quick one here, all right? Write one story email today. Pick something that happened this week. What did you learn? How did you connect? How does it connect to what your audience cares about? And write it in 10 minutes. Just send it, all right? Write it quick and just send it. Now, emails keep your leads warm, all right? That's very important. But there's a specific type of content that accelerates the entire process and turns cold leads into book calls faster than anything I've ever tested. I've tested blog posts, carousels, infographics, talking head videos, tutorials, interviews, threads, and live streams, and one format beats everything by a single wide margin, which is case study content. Not a boring client success story where you just talk about the results, or a page on your website. I'm talking about short, punchy, story-driven content that shows a specific person's transformation with specific numbers. When you teach, people think good advice. When you show proof, people think, I want that result. Teaching creates understanding. Proof creates desire. I have a formula for this as well, and I call it the BANG method, or the BANG method. All right, B is before, show where the person started, make it relatable. A is after, show where they ended up. N is number, the specific quantifiable result. NG is the gateway, the CTA. If you're stuck in the same path Sarah was, I built a free calculator that shows you exactly where you're leaking revenue. Link in the bio. All right. I post a bang case study reel every single day for 30 days. Just me talking to the camera for 30 to 60 seconds about a different client result. No fancy editing, no transitions, just me, the story, and the number. In that 30 days, those case study reels generated over 2,000 leads. I had 30 days of education, 340 leads. I had 6 times the result. That is the difference. So I'll say this again. A case study reel generated 2,100 leads. My educational reels during the same period, 340. So you see the difference between case study and education. When you're showing people results, then you get more leads. 6 times the results here. Same effort, same posting frequency, just the type of content that's being produced here. It's way different. One is, they're polar opposites of each other, and the other one is producing much bigger results. So here's your action plan. Make a list of every client result you've gotten, even small ones. Pick the 5 most impressive and write a bang script for each one of them. Film them this week and post one, every day for the next 5 days, and track how many leads each one generates versus the usual content you post. But case study content only works if you have the right offer waiting on the other side, and the offer most people use to capture leads is completely wrong for hitting 100 per day. So we're gonna go through that. If your lead magnet is a PDF guide, an ebook, or a free resource, you've already capped yourself here. Those worked in like 2019, but in 2026, everyone has 47 unread PDFs sitting in a folder they'll never open. The lead magnets that scale you to 100 plus leads per day all share one trait. They're interactive. They give the person a personalized result, not a generic document. That's why people do this. The option A, download our free guide to getting more leads. They think another PDF I'll never read. Or option B, take this 2-minute quiz to find out which lead generation strategy fits your business. They think, oh, I want to know my result. And option B, wins every time. The three lead magnets that scale best are quizzes, calculators, and audits. A quiz asks 5 to 8 questions and gives a personalized recommendation, converts at 30 to 50%, double or triple a typical PDF opt-in page. A calculator takes their specific numbers and gives them a specific output. This works because it reveals a gap. An audit is a self-assessment that scores them. All right, they see where they're the weakest. The natural next step, fixing the weakest area, which is exactly what you sell. All right, very convenient. I switched one client from a PDF guide to a quiz, same audience, same ad spend. Leads per day went from 35 to 94. All right, so just pick the format, quiz, calculator, or audit, use Typeform, Score App, or Interact to build it. You can have it live in 2 to 3 hours. All right, it's not a big deal. It's pretty easy to create these. Now you got a scalable lead magnet, but there's a multiplier that can double your leads overnight without creating a single new piece of content. This is the one tweak I promised you at the start of this video. So if you're still here, thank you for that. The one that tripled my results overnight. Here's the old way. All right, you post content, you put link in bio and the CTA. People have to stop, go to your profile, find the link, click it, and land on your page and opt in. All right, that's 5 steps. Here's the new way. You post content, you say, comment keyword, and I'll send it to you. Someone types one word, and automation instantly DMs them the link and 2 steps instead of 5. So the tool here that we use is ManyChat. You set up a trigger keyword. When someone comments that word, the automation fires immediately. DM with your link. They DM the person with your link within seconds. All right. Install ManyChat on a Tuesday. Nope. Install ManyChat on a Tuesday. Monday, my average post was generating around 15 leads. And the next day, 47 leads. By Friday, it was 63 from a single post. The content didn't change. The offer didn't change. The only thing that changed was friction. All right. The DM isn't just a link delivery. It's a conversation opener. All right. My automation sends the content. It sends the link, like the content, like the link from the content, and asks a question for segmentation or qualification. And here's how you can set this up. All right. Sign up for ManyChat and their free plan. It's free. You can connect it to your Instagram. Create one automation with a trigger for word like, lawn, all right, or roof if you're in home services. And then set the automation up and then post it. Post a video of that with that CTA. So DM me roofing and then post it. Just watch the leads roll in without you lifting a finger. All right. That's really all right. Now once the leads start flooding in, you're gonna face a new challenge here. All right. Not all of those leads are created equal. Some are ready to buy today, some are just curious. If you treat them all the same, you'll waste massive amounts of time, and this is crucial here. All right. When you're generating 100 leads a day, you cannot personally follow up with every single one. The solution is lead scoring. Every action a lead takes tells you how interested they are. I assign a simple point system here. Opt-in equals 1 point, email open equals 1 point, email click equals 3 points, email reply equals 5 points, website visit to pricing page equals 5 points, book called equals 10 points. All right. And any lead that hits 10 points within the first 7 days gets flagged as a hot lead. They get a personal follow-up within hours, not an automated email, a real message. Leads under 10 points stay in the automated nurture sequence. They keep getting emails and value. This one system saved me about 3 hours a day. I only personally follow up with people, the 10, 20, 10, 15 per day that have actually shown real buying intent. That's why we scored the leads, because they get personalized. They get a personalized outreach from me. The other 85 to 90 just get nurtured automatically. A client implemented this and went from closing 3 clients per month to 8 clients per month from the same number of leads. She didn't get more leads. She just focused her energy on the right ones. All right. Now, you know how to find your hottest leads. I taught you the system. But what do you do? What do you actually say to them? Because most follow-up messages are so bad, they actually repel the leads you worked so hard to get. Here's what most people send. Hey, I saw you downloaded my guide. Would you like to book a call? That's the equivalent of walking up to a stranger in a party and saying, would you like to buy my product? Nobody wants that. The follow-up messages that actually book calls give first and ask second. I have a 3-message sequence that books calls at a 34% rate, and here's exactly what it looks like. Message 1, the observation leads with something specific you noticed about them, right? And then message 2, the quick win, give 1 actionable fix. And message 3, the bridge, offer help, not a pitch, right? All right. Now, once you start booking calls at this rate, you need to make sure your sales process doesn't leak everything you built. You get the lead, you nurture them, you book the call, they show up, great conversation. They say, this sounds amazing. Let me think about it. And then nothing. They vanish. The real problem here, you let the call, you let them leave the call without a decision. And sometimes you got to let them leave, but think about it. Right? Think about this. When they say think about it, that means talk myself out of it. Fortunately, that's the case. People are not being honest to you, to your face, but it is what it is. Every hour that passes, the excitement fades, the objections grow. The fix to this is what I call the decision frame. You said it at the beginning of the call, not at the end. I'd within the first 5 minutes say, hey, just so we're both making the best use of our time, by the end of this conversation, you'll have a really clear picture of whether this is a fit for you or not. And either way, the answer is totally fine. If it's a yes, great, we'll get you started. If it's not the right fit, no hard feelings, I'll point you to some resources. Sounds fair? At the end of the call, don't say, think about it. Say, so based on everything we talked about, which direction are you leaning? Before the decision frame, my close rate was 22%. After, 41%. Same offer, same price, same audience. It's just a sales skill that you have to acquire. It's not that hard. It just takes practice, calls, and that's how you will acquire this skill. If you don't believe me, you can try other things and see what works for you. This stuff is not set in stone. I'm just sharing my observations. But closing more deals creates a new problem here. We're closing deals, and the problem that arises here is that you need to keep the lead engine running while you deliver your service to your clients. So let me show you how to automate the daily work so it doesn't consume your entire life. People think generating 100 leads a day requires working 12 hours. It doesn't. My actual daily time investment is about 90 minutes. All right. So I'll give you a daily schedule here. All right. From 7 to 7:30, I batch record 2 to 3 short form videos, all using the methods I've shown you, the rip and bang method, case study format. All right. It takes about 5 minutes to record each, and then they get posted throughout the day using a scheduling tool. All right, 7:30 to 8, I check my hot lead dashboard. Usually 8 to 15 people scored, and then I send personalized observation messages or in whatever sequence they are. All right. 8 to 8:30, I write and schedule 1 email to my list in the story format, which takes around 20 minutes. And the remaining time goes to reviewing yesterday's numbers. All right, that's it. 90 minutes. Everything else runs on automation. ManyChat handles comment to DM, email sequence nurtures automatically, quiz scores leads 24/7, ads run on autopilot. You don't need to work more. You need to build systems so the work you've already done keeps generating leads forever. That reel from 3 months ago, it's still collecting leads. That email sequence you wrote once, it's still nurturing every new lead. Now, here's something nobody tells you about when running a system like this. The numbers will fluctuate. Some days you'll hit 150, some days 60. If you don't know what's normal versus what's a problem, you'll panic every time there's a dip. Most people either track nothing or track everything. All right, both are useless, and you just need four numbers here. That's it. And it's going to take you 5 minutes a day. All right, number one, daily opt ins. Number two, email engagement rate. Number three, hot lead count. And number four, calls booked. All right, I review these every morning at 8:15. Simple Google Sheet. Green means on track. Yellow means watch it. Red means fix it right now. All right. My client Jenna wanted to scrap her entire funnel when leads dried up. We set up the dashboard, and within one day, we saw our opt-ins were fine, but the email engagement cratered. She'd accidentally sent the same broadcast 3 times. Gmail flagged her domain. We fixed it in 10 days, and without the dashboard, she would have scrapped a working funnel. All right, we just got to know what the leakage is so we can fix it. That's it. Not everything needs to be fixed all at once. Sometimes it's just one thing and the whole system that is leaking. All right. And that's what's going on. Now, let me talk about something that separates people who get 100 leads a month from people who sustain it for years. All right. The number one reason people stop creating content isn't burnout. It isn't lack of time. It's running out of ideas. They post for 3 weeks like they've said everything, and they just quit. Here's how I posted 2 to 3 pieces of content every single day for over 2 years without running out of ideas. The content flywheel. The more leads you get, the more content ideas you generate. It's self-sustaining. Spoke one. All right. Lead questions. The second one, sales call objections. The third one, client wins. And the fourth one, comment mining. I read comments on my competitors' content, not to copy them, but just to find questions they aren't answering. So my current backlog is about 247 ideas. I'll never get through all of them. So start a content ideas document today. Add from every conversation, and within 2 weeks, you'll have like 30 to 50 ideas. So it's very simple. All right. Now that you got a content system that sustains itself, there is also a way to multiply the reach of every single piece of content you create by 5 to 10x without creating anything new. So I create about 15 to 20 pieces of content per week, but I only come up with 3 to 4 original ideas per week. The rest is repurposing. And repurposing isn't just reposting, it's reformatting one idea for different audiences on each platform. Here's my exact repurposing flow. The YouTube video is the main idea here, and then it just gets, redistributed. It gets transcribed and then redistributed into shorts, IGs, LinkedIn posts, Twitter, etc., etc. So it's the same. It's one piece of content per day, or a couple per week, which is the long form YouTube, and then it just gets divided up, formatted into other platforms. So I have a quick one for you here. Take your best performing piece of content from last month, reformat it for two other platforms you're not currently using and posting on. Now I was showing you how to create, distribute, and repurpose content at scale, but there's an entire category of leads that most people completely ignore, and that's the easiest source of all. Which is your existing leads are your best salespeople. They already trust you, they already engage, and every single one knows 3 to 5 people who have the same problem. Most businesses never ask, or they ask in a way that creates zero motivation. The failed version, hey, if you know anyone who could use this, send them our way. That's passive and forgettable. This version here, creates a referral loop. We incentivize people to market for us, and we can do that with like discounts. We can do that with like free services. Just get creative here. It all depends on what you're willing to give people for those referrals, and just like ask. And once people are incentivized, you're gonna get maybe 8 to 12 free leads a day just from referrals. Now, referrals are amazing for steady growth, but if you want to hit 100 leads in a single day, not over time, but in one explosive burst, there's a strategy that you can do from scratch. That's when you launch a spike. You run a launch spike. A launch spike is a coordinated push across all your channels over a 48 to 72 hour window. Think of it like a movie premiere. 48 hours before, You start teasing, 3 to 4 pieces of content hinting at something big. Email your list. Something big is dropping Thursday. 24 hours before revealed what it is, but don't make it available yet. Scarcity puts specificity plus a countdown. The email alone usually generates 30 to 50 opt-ins, depending on how big your audience is, right? And then the launch hour. All right, everything fires at once. A reel with many chat automations, a YouTube community post, an email blast, a LinkedIn post, blah, blah, blah. We do all these things, we're hyping up whatever our offer is, and then we're getting people finally on board. All right. So we ran a launch spike for a new lead magnet last month. In 72 hours, I generated 847 leads. My normal rate would have been about 300. This spike almost tripled it. Right? You can run a launch spike once per month without fatiguing your audience. Right? Schedule your first one for 2 weeks from now. All right. So now, spikes are great bursts, but the long-term game isn't about, is about compounding. These are just some tools in our arsenal that we can use. We don't want to overuse them, and they're not, things you can use every day. So here's a question that changed how I think about content. If you stopped posting today, completely stopped, how many leads would you generate tomorrow, next week, next month? If the answer is close to zero, your lead generation has no equity, all right? You're renting attention instead of owning it. The fix is evergreen content. The two best platforms are YouTube and SEO optimized blog posts, right? Because people search on Google and YouTube. Social media content lives forever. So I have a YouTube channel, my content might be outdated in terms of the best practices right now, but the content is still evergreen. So I want you to pick one, pick one topic, pick one channel, either the blog or YouTube, and, just type something related to your niche, type the beginning of a question related to your niche, and look at what comes up first, or like the autocomplete. All right, those are real searches from real people. So just pick one, create the best answer on the first page. All right, and do this once a week. Within 6 months, you'll have 24 evergreen videos working for you around the clock. All right. Now that you got the full system, there's one mistake that can destroy all of it. All right, here's what happens to most people who figure out how to generate a lot of leads. They get excited, they double down on everything, they increase ad spend, post more content, launch more lead magnets, try to go from 100 to 200, and the whole system collapses. Not because 200 is impossible, but because they scaled the inputs without scaling the infrastructure. Right? I made this mistake myself. Went from 80 leads per day to 160 in 2 weeks. By ramping up ads, my close rate dropped from 38 to 11%. More leads, more ad spend, more calls, but fewer closers and lower revenue. I scaled back to 80, fixed my follow-up system, hired a setter, upgraded my email tool, then pushed back to 120, then 150. Close rate stayed at 32. Doubled revenue, no, and the stress halved. So scale infrastructure first, then scale inputs. Before you increase volume, ask 5 questions. Can my email tool handle the volume? Can I follow up within, 5 minutes, etc., etc.? Like, will I maintain quality? Can I fulfill client delivery? Are automations running smoothly? If the answer is no for any of those, fix that bottleneck before adding more leads. All right, that's just a small warning here. All right, so now, so this is the roadmap. All right, we're gonna follow everything in this video. I know there's a lot of detail, so we're gonna follow everything in this video step by step, and we're gonna have a good system for leads, a good system for videos, a good system for lead nurturing, a good system for opt-ins, a good system for lead magnets, everything, sales. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video. Please check out the other videos on my channel. I have a lot of things that can solve your problems. So yeah, take care.